Hey guys, it's Johan and welcome back to the second episode. And we're ready on episode 2 out of 10, which is being recorded in this beautiful studio in Melbourne. And I'd like to thank all of our sponsors. And I'd like to thank Mario Srocco, who's been the major sponsor for this 10-part series as well. But more importantly, guys, we've added a charitable component to this podcast, and we're going to be donating some funds to a wonderful organization in Melbourne, which we'll share with you more details over the next coming weeks as well. And guys, keep giving us all the feedback on Spotify as well, and keep liking, subscribing, and sharing this content with some family and friends on YouTube as well, because all we're trying to do, my friends, is build a large community full of positive people. So like I said again, guys, welcome back to another episode. And today I really want to talk about knowing your environment. And when we talk about environment, I'm not talking about the weather. I'm not talking about, summer, winter, and spring. I'm talking about your environment, the environment that you live in. What's your lifestyle based upon this? And the reason why I want to talk to you about this, guys, is literally the environment that you live in. That includes your household, the suburb that you live in, the school that you might be going to, maybe the friends that you hang around, your workplace, and who your network is will actually determine where you currently are, and more importantly, how it's going to affect your future in a positive and negative way. So what are some examples when we talk about environment? I believe there are 5 fundamental things we should look at. Number 1 is your household. Do you live in a positive household environment? Is it neat and tidy, or is it messy? And I'm going to share with you why these little things are important. How does your car look like? How does the environment of your car look like? Is it clean? Is it messy? Is it full of junk? Are you organized? Are you not? At work, are you associating with the right people at work? Or are you hanging around with people who have no drive, no passion to want to succeed? How does your external network look? Are you hanging around with people who want to take you up that next level, who want to challenge you and make you grow? Or are you hanging around with people who are just yes people, who don't want to challenge you, who are just happy to go through life as it is? Who are you hanging around with? And that is the whole point when we talk about environment. So, guys, if you don't know me well, I would say that if I look at myself now, I'd say I'm at version 3.0. And what I mean by that is I've went through 3 different growth stages, and I'm not talking about my hype, but more on the environment that I've associated with. So I would say that in my early 20s, I hung around with a group that was quite crazy. We did some crazy things that could have got us in a lot of trouble, right? And, through that as well, my work life was messy, my home life was messy, and I didn't have any really drive or purpose to be somewhere in particular. It was very, very unorganized, chaotic life. And I'd say at that point, I was version 1. I didn't really have a gym group, no sports group, no community, nothing like that. It was very, very vanilla plain, where I was just hanging around with crazy young dudes, as we all were, and just trying to have fun. And that's the whole life was all about, right? And I used to think that the environment that I was associated with wouldn't affect me. And I'm quite a stubborn guy, unfortunately. So it takes me a bit time to learn things and really adapt. Now it's completely different. But before that's, I used to think I was very stubborn, right? And I'd probably say even to my late to early 30s, my environment started changing. And I remember that my wife and I, we moved away from the suburb that I pretty much grew up in. And when I made that shift from one suburb to another, my life started to change. So what I mean by that was, when I was growing up in a particular area of Melbourne, it was a very low economic area, not that popular. It was a lot of crime, a lot of drugs. I'd probably say, low income families. Well, not that they're bad people or anything like that, but the environment gave me a certain standard in life. And that's all I knew, right? And from that as well, I had a lot of limiting beliefs because of my environment. But when I made the first shift from one area to another, things started to change, because I noticed every time I'd walk, me and my wife would feel, quite safe. We were robbed numerous times in this area that we're living. And then we moved into this wonderful area where we were there for 3 years. We weren't robbed. Our cars were never damaged. No, nothing was scratches. Nothing was stolen. It was all pretty secure and nice. But I remember when my wife and I, we usually go for 2 walks a day, I would meet a lot of people in the neighborhood, and it was like, professional athletes that lived in the area, had high income families, high income individuals, very fit, healthy people, and even people who were like 70 or 80 were a lot more healthier, both financially and physically and mentally, versus people in the area that I grew up with. It was a complete contrast. And I think when I made that environmental change, subconsciously, I didn't even know that was happening. I started to feel different, and I felt like there was a lot more hope out there. But I still wasn't at that point that I had complete, hope or faith. So about 3 years ago, my wife decided to say, hey, babe, let's move to another area that's closer to the city. And we made the move about 3 years ago. We bought a brand new place and whatnot. And I would say even from the first day of living in, our life completely changed because of our environment. We suddenly had a brand new place that was clean. We lived in a place where, there was a lot of high income individuals and families. A lot of people with significant power lived in our building as well, which I can't specify, unfortunately. And we noticed that every time we would walk around, we would bump into so many different people who were happier, higher energy, higher level of frequency that would vibrate on a higher level, and things started to change. I felt that when I moved to this new area, that I felt part of that community. And kid you not, within 12 months, my mind started to expand to do bigger and better things because the limitations were slowly dissolving. I was starting to associate with people in an area who had high goals, big dreams, good jobs, really fit, very healthy people as well. And things started to change. And I started to change with it. And what I found, guys, was even in my work practice, I started to change. My language started to change. The way I communicated with people changed because I was communicating with people who had a different vocabulary. They communicated differently. And you might be saying, man, does one area really matter? Unfortunately, it does. That is the reality, guys. And even now, guys, that we've made this significant change, I've had to implement a few different environmental changes within my life in order to achieve my goals. So I only have about 2 or 3 friends that I grew up with, right? Apart from that, I don't really associate with people I grew up with. And again, it's not because they're bad people. It's because my goals are aligned to different people who can help me with my mission and my cause and my purpose. My big philosophy and thing at the moment, guys, is I'm trying to build up a really cool, sustainable, property portfolio. I'm really trying to go big. But in order for that to happen, my social network has had to change as well. My phone calls were, friends that I used to hang around with to now where it's people within that field of property, where we're talking about different things within property. And I'm getting all these ideas. I'm getting all these philosophies, learnings and knowledge and wisdom. And more importantly, I'm starting to feel motivated. I'm starting to feel very driven. And I'm starting to believe now that I can do it. And not only am I learning things about the property space, but I'm starting to study people. How do they look? How do they dress? How do they act? How do they look physically? And I've noticed that the guys that I associate with are very physically fit. And that's made me really more motivated to be fit. And it's not about comparing, but it's about believing that, hey, if that person over there can do something, then I can do that too. And that's why your environment matters. Because if you're in an environment where there's no inspiration or aspiration to change, you're not going to change, my friends. And if you're saying to me, but Johan, I don't come from a privileged family and, I don't live in a great area. I didn't go to the great school and all this stuff. Well, believe it or not, guys, I didn't have that either. But I made a conscious choice to change. I changed my association. I changed my environment. And you can use things like LinkedIn to network with great people as well. You've got all these social platforms that you can actually meet people. But the key is you've got to meet people on a face-to-face level, not just online. And to give you perspective, guys, I have a mentor and a guy I look up to from the United States called David Meltzer. And, I've had various conversations with him on the phone. And last year, my wife and I, we went to the USA and I drove for about an hour and a half, 2 hours just to meet him in person and be surrounded with his community. And believe it or not, guys, I changed completely. My mind went from quite limited thinking status to thinking very big and to thinking that I could do things that I couldn't do before. And the greatest thing now is that when you associate yourselves with people in certain environments, nothing in terms of external negativeness will affect you. So I don't even care what anyone says about me. It's none of my business what people think about me anymore. I don't really care about anything like that anymore. I'm focused on achieving my goal through association with the right people. But apart from wealth, I train 5 days a week, right? And I've trained about 5 to 5:30 every morning. And my association again has changed. I'm training with people who are driven and motivated to be fit and healthy. And through that, I've met other business people. Through that, there are new opportunities because successful people will do things that normal people want to do. They wake up early, they train, and they associate. So now I'm getting business deals while I'm training at gym. It makes no sense, guys, but it happens. And I'm trying to take my life and career to another level, and I've had to accept something. A lot of the wealthy people or business people that I'm trying to associate with for business and for growth and to learn play golf. And I used to hate golf, guys. And in the last 2 weeks, I've started playing golf so I can improve my skill set and, have that confidence that I could go out to a meeting at a golf stand or a golf club, whatever it may be, and play some golf and close some deals. And that is just the reality still in today's modern age, that people get deals done during golf. So I want to be part of that community. But in order to do that, I've got to change my environment. So on the weekends, and I don't really just go out to cafes with mates now, I'm really going out to golf. I do spend some time with my wife, obviously, over the weekend where we go eat on a one-on-one basis. But I've had to change that. I've had to add something very significant in my life to become a person with empathy and maybe a person who loves people more, right? And, I used to be a bit of an arsehole before, maybe a bit aggressive. So my wife encouraged me to go to church again about 3 years ago. And I've developed an association with people from church. And I've learned that, the community that we deal with are absolutely sensational. They've opened my heart. And more importantly, I feel safe to be myself in that environment too. And again, that comes through external change of environment. I love people so much because of that church. I love people because of the environment I'm in. My network of friends have expanded with people who have the same vision and goals through that as well. And more importantly, they've helped me believe that there is a higher power in there, which I believe in, and everyone's got their own thing. But because of them, I've been able to believe it in more. It's completely changed my life. So guys, please, I'll encourage you, my friends, that if you want to change your current circumstances right now, you need to look at changing your environment. And you don't have to do it all at once. Start small again. Think about people that you want to associate with and why. And usually I find that the successful people in life want to help other people. A lot of people think that successful people don't want to help anyone, but it's the opposite. Successful people like to help successful people. It's the matter of the truth, guys. And how do you build a foundation of a healthy environment? The 3 main important things in my life, apart from family, is community, work, and networking, right? So I've had to focus on hanging around and associating with people that serve my purpose through those 3 main core groups. So like I said, guys, having a positive environment will change your life. And as I'm reflecting right now and thinking about what I'm talking about right now, I wouldn't be in the studio recording this if I didn't associate with people who provided encouragement and belief. You know, the people who have backed me to provide you with this content have only done that through association because I'm in the right environment and I've made the changes in order for other people to see what we can do. And if you haven't got that drive and mission to change as a person, that is fair enough. But I believe you're one of one. And I do believe that we all have the right to have a really good life through change. So guys, that's all we're going to end it for today. Thank you again for a second episode, my friends. And, you know, again, thank you very much for being part of this journey. And, you know, I'm looking forward to the third episode, which we'll be doing a recording in the next week or two about, you know, really looking at yourself and asking yourself a valuable question. Do you consider yourself as a low value person or a high value person? Think about that. And guys, to the next episode, take care and speak soon. Bye.